Joining me now for more on this, someone who's fought in battles firsthand, Defense Priorities Senior Fellow Gil Barndollar. Thank you for being here. We just saw that soldier with some choice words for the Russians invading his country. What does it take, though, to really lay your life on the line for a cause like this? Is this something you know about?
Yeah, well, I think the Ukrainians obviously have a lot of fight in them, and I think that it's pretty clear that things are going a little more slowly and there's more resistance than maybe the Russians might have anticipated or might have hoped. But the underlying dynamics, underlying power realities are what they are. There's still a tremendous amount of Russian combat power and firepower, and we're going to see that in the days ahead.
Absolutely. Well, President Zelenskyy has called on his people to take up arms, to join in the fight. Explain what that looks like. Are there weapons available to them? And do they have a chance given the might of the Russian military?
Yeah, I mean, you're hearing kind of things that harken back to sort of like impressment, like you would have had, we fought the war of 1812 over that, right? You hear stories of people being pulled out of trucks and handed rifles. And I think every man age 18 to 60 is sort of expected to be willing to fight now. What that looks like in the face of a mechanized Russian assault of 150,000 plus troops is another question. Certainly, you could have really bloody urban fighting in Kiev and cities like that, but we haven't even really seen the full weight of the Russian onslaught yet. I think analysts think about a third of the Russian troops on Ukraine's borders have been deployed into combat to date, maybe less than that. And there actually hasn't been nearly the weight of Russian kind of rocket and artillery and air fire that, airstrikes that you might have expected. So we're still in very early days.
But even now, even using the weapons that they've been using, even with the limited incursion that's been happening, what does this fight look like within the borders of Ukraine?
Well, there's that old military saw about not, first reports kind of always being inaccurate and taking everything with a grain of salt. And I know that they're, open source intelligence and what you can glean from the internet. On the one hand, there's a lot more available to an observer looking out over the media landscape. But there's also a tremendous amount of disinformation and kind of mixed messages and both conscious and unconscious kind of disinformation problems. So I would say that as I said, the Russians are probably not having as easy a go of it as they expected, but that doesn't change the reality of what the Ukrainians are facing, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is so sad to see some of these images, and we know there is more to the call than just fighting, right? A lot of Ukrainians donating blood to help the injured soldiers, to help other injured civilians. Are there other ways that civilians are taking up the fight without actually using weapons?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that non-combatants can do, whether it's, I think that you just had a picture of showing kind of entrenching and digging, and no question, that's as old as time, digging holes in the ground and kind of basic expedient fortifications can make a real difference. So there's a lot of things in terms of labor and non-combatant duties that help, and the medical side of that is one big piece of that for sure.
All right, well, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much, Gil Barndollar. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.